Welcome to the Highly Sensitive Podcast. I'm Lauren LaSalle, and I'm a former therapist, a highly sensitive person, and a boundary-setting coach for highly sensitive people. My hope for this podcast is to create a feeling of community, be a supportive place for HSPs, and normalize our experiences as highly sensitive people. Thank you so much for joining me, and let's begin. Hey everybody! Welcome back, or welcome if this is the first episode you are listening to. I'm Lauren LaSalle, and I'm a boundary setting coach for highly sensitive people. And being a boundary setting coach, I am very excited to be doing another episode about boundary setting. So before we get into that, I have a couple updates and things to share with you. So first is I have an update about the highly sensitive parent community that is starting in October. So this is an ongoing monthly membership community for parents who are highly sensitive and are seeking connection, encouragement, validation, tools, accountability, and support. So what is different is that we will be meeting together on Zoom once a month. It had been twice a month. I think that might be stretching it a little bit. It might be a little bit tricky for us to all line up our schedules and be able to make time to meet twice a month. So now we will be meeting live together only once a month to discuss our experiences as highly sensitive parents and to get strategies and support from each other. And meeting live will allow us to connect on a deeper level with other parents who are highly sensitive who have a better understanding of your experiences and struggles than non-highly sensitive parents might. There's also ongoing support within the membership community in between meetings, so we can post questions, post support for each other, just to connect however we feel is going to be helpful for us. And this membership is a safe place where we can vent, ask questions, and get support. So the investment is now $30 per month and payment plans are available. You can sign up for 1 month if you just want to test it out. You can sign up for multiple months. It's up to you. And like I said, payment plans are available. So if you need that, you can definitely let me know. And I will put the sign up link in the episode description. You can also go to my website, which will be in the episode description as well, laurenlasallecoaching.com, and you can sign up on my website. So that is the first update that I have. The second thing I wanted to share with you is that this podcast is now listed on an HSP and empath directory, and I will put the link to that in the episode description. It is hsp-empathdirectory.com, and I was very excited when they contacted me to list this podcast. So if you want to find other podcasts for HSPs and empaths and other resources, you can go to that website. I think it's a great idea. I know there are a couple of these out there, and I think it's great that people are putting these together for us to use. So check that out. And next, I want to share a 5-star rating by Liz772 on Apple Podcasts. So her review says, I've only listened to 2 episodes so far because I just found this podcast this morning, but I'm already very appreciative of it. I listened to 2 of the longer episodes, one about following your gut and one about being an empath. I like the style of conversation in these episodes because it makes it feel like I'm chatting with some HSP friends. Excited to listen to more. So Liz772, thank you so much for leaving this review. It is the first review that has been left on Apple Podcasts. So I really appreciate it. And I think this is just the sweetest thing that anyone could say about this podcast. So thank you so much. If you haven't yet, all of you out there, go rate the show wherever you listen to podcasts. And if you are able to leave a review on that podcast app, I would love a review of what you like about the podcast, so other people who might be interested in listening to it can read those and see what is helpful for people. So next, I actually want to share a little bit about my one-to-one coaching program, because I don't really talk about that too much on here, but I figured, especially since this is a boundary setting episode, there might be people listening to it who are interested in working with somebody on setting boundaries. So here's a little bit about my coaching program. So this is called the Reclaim Your Life program. This is a 6-month one-to-one coaching program for HSPs who are ready to reclaim their time and energy and start ensuring that their needs get met to improve their overall well-being. So we meet on Zoom twice a month with additional Voxer support in between meetings for implementation support and accountability. And if you don't know what Voxer is, it's a messaging app. So you can send voice messages, you can send images, you can text. So it's really great for those in-between moments when you have questions or you say, I really want to set a boundary with this person, but I'm not sure quite what to do. You can send me those messages. And while I may not respond right away, I will get back to you within a reasonable amount of time. The framework that I use for this program was created from my boundary setting work with therapy clients, with coaching clients, and my own personal work around setting boundaries. So during our meetings together, we will discuss barriers to setting boundaries. So what's getting in the way? We will work on identifying and acknowledging your needs, coping with feelings of anxiety and guilt and any other uncomfortable feelings that come up, and how to actually start setting boundaries in your life. So throughout our time together, we'll also identify and work on any unhelpful thought patterns that are keeping you stuck in a people-pleasing mode. So if you are interested at all in this program, you can go to my website, laurenlassalcoaching.com, and all of the information is listed on the About page. And if you think it might be a good fit for you, you can schedule a free connection call with me to see if you have any questions or if maybe this is a good fit, and we'll go from there. So I will also put the link to schedule a free connection call with me in the episode description. Anyone can do this. Even if you have just some random questions for me, you can schedule this. So it's a 15-minute free meeting, and I would love to meet with you whether or not you are interested in my individual coaching program. All right, so next I have 2 poems to read that were sent in by Amber Deanne, and the first one is called Creating in an HSP Head. I dip brush in paint, and with only an urge, a feeling, a yearning, I stroke it on upward, I go with the flow. With no mindset, no scheme, no overall plan, I continue to stroke till an idea unfolds alive in my head. I care not for formulas, instructions, or steps, the fun's in the making, not planning or sweating. It's art and it changes as I move on through the task. I trust not a tactic, a process, or form. It's colors and images, meanings and text that excite and flow through me into my play. It's inside me, the feelings, the tensions, and when they arise, the colors will speak as they climb onto the page. Then suddenly, like a shot in the night, the meaning shouts out, I'm here, I'm right here. I trust inner feelings, let images flow, let meanings emerge, it's my soul speaking truth. You see I'm creative, it's in me, and with me, it's just who I am. For HSPs, we exist in the shadows, yet fly in the skies. We're in the new film, the unwritten book, we're the new or the old, and whatever's arising, it's birthed from our soul. We live in the cosmos, we dance o'er the paper, we twinkle in stage lights and soar through the sounds of our passions arising, our instincts aligning. As you see us and feel us and breathe with us too, remember, we live on forever, we're souls just like you. That is a beautiful poem, Amber. I just love that. So the next poem by Amber Deanne is called Empathy and the HSPs, Highly Sensitive Person. Your pain is my pain, your love is my love, your loss is my loss. We HSPs, highly sensitive people, are with you all the way. We could walk in your shoes, sing through your throat, live in your dreams, and think with your thoughts. We connect with you always, your sense, your feelings, as we feel them ourselves. We move through the world with you, and in you, unnoticed, unseen, unacknowledged. For we are the energy within you that moves, breathes, stumbles and falls, then rises and shines. We are your therapist, masseur, psychic, your energy doctor, life coach, teacher, confidant, and your best friend. We are the music that opens your heart like a key, the poem that softens your fear, The anger that raises your inner will, the vision that creates your film, the I want to be me prick that pops you back into your dreams, your aspirations, and your truth. We are your voice, your inner you who knows your worth, are excited about your future, aware of the cliffs, the swamps, the quicksands of your path. Accept us, embrace us, love us, trust us. We are the fuel of your life adventure, a support never ending, a love never ceasing, a stamina never wavering. We are here for you and beside you. We seek the best for you because it will produce the best of us, a thriving union of conscious, enduring love energy, mingling with action, shifting the world forward into cosmic unity. Be not afraid of us, shun and ignore us not. Though small in number, we are large in power, and we seek to serve, to belong, to connect, and to live with you. Like babies connected at birth, we are you and you are us until you are not. Thank you, Amber, so much for sending in those beautiful poems. If anybody else would like to send in poems, you can always email those to me or use the contact form on my website. I would love to hear from you and share on the podcast what you would like to share with the world. All right, so now to get into the episode, I have some questions that I got on Instagram. I have a boundary setting broadcast channel on Instagram that you can join by going to my profile, and it's listed on there. And I'm at Boundaries by Lauren, in case we're not already connected. I would love to connect with you all. And so I asked everybody in that broadcast channel if they had any boundary setting questions. So I got 4 questions, and 2 of them were similar, and then the other 2 are pretty similar too. So I sort of combined them into 2 questions to answer, and I thought it might be cool to answer them on the podcast too, because I figure other people, I'm sure, have these questions as well. So here we are. So question number 1 is, how do I know when to set a boundary and when to let it slide? When is it the right time to set a boundary and when is it not? So I think it comes down to who this is with and what you are comfortable putting up with. Meaning, is this a person who is going to take advantage or keep pushing if a boundary isn't set? And if so, then it's probably a good idea to set boundaries with this person and not let it slide. But if it's a situation where you feel like you are able to deal with it if a boundary isn't set, then maybe you can let it slide. So maybe it's with a person who is generally respectful of your boundaries, and it's not something that's really going to matter in the long run. So the right time to set a boundary is when your needs and or your values don't align with what is being asked of you or what is happening. So here's an example. So I had a male client who was married and had a very young child, and he had felt like he had a decent relationship with his in-laws before his son was born, but then their relationship began to feel strained after his son was born because my client felt like they were constantly disregarding his needs and boundaries. And they would often want to spend time with his son on days when he just wanted them to have a family day with him, his son, and his wife. And it sounds like his in-laws did spend plenty of time with their grandson, so it's not like they never saw him. And so my client also felt like his wife would take her parents' side and did not support him in his needs. But it was also his wife who was communicating to her parents for my client, which I think made the situation even more difficult because his needs weren't being accurately communicated to his in-laws because they weren't coming from him. So we talked about how it was important for him to be the one to communicate his needs and that boundaries needed to be set in the situation because without boundaries, his in-laws were stressing him out and not giving him the time that he wanted with his family. So in this situation, his value was his family. And so that wasn't being met. He wasn't having adequate time with his family, so boundaries needed to be set. And he had already been letting things slide with his in-laws, and he didn't feel good about how things were going. So once he started communicating his needs to them and setting boundaries, he felt like he had more control, even if doing so was uncomfortable and if his in-laws didn't always agree with the boundary he was setting. So for an example of maybe when to let it slide, So say I've been planning to have some time to myself when my husband gets home from work one day, and he knows about this in advance. So something comes up where he's not able to be with our daughter while I have my me time, which is a big need of mine, as I'm sure you understand if you're also highly sensitive. So since he's not intentionally keeping this from happening and something just came up, and we'll probably find another day where this will work out better, I can let it slide because overall it doesn't have a big impact on our relationship or on my life. So I hope that all makes sense and answers those questions. So question 2, what if someone keeps manipulating you and you can't set boundaries? What do you do when you set a boundary and someone continues to press? Sometimes it can be helpful to repeat the boundary that you're setting in a firm, clear manner without trying to argue or over-explain yourself. But if the person is really not responding well and won't respect the boundary, it might be time to decide if you really want to keep this person in your life, especially if they have a pattern of disrespecting your boundaries and your needs. So think about what you're willing to put up with when it comes to this person pushing or disrespecting your boundaries. The people that you need in your life are the people who are going to respect your needs and feelings, even if they don't agree with them. And obviously, this becomes more complicated if it's in a work situation, but then again, it could be time to reassess if this is the right workplace for you, if you feel like you keep getting pushback against your boundaries. So whether it's they want you to work more, or maybe you're spoken to in a disrespectful way by a coworker or your boss, whatever the case, weigh the pros and cons of continuing to put up with this treatment. So that can be really hard if people are not letting you set boundaries or if they keep pushing and pushing. And it really does come down to what you are willing to put up with, because you can't change their mind. You can't make somebody accept a boundary that you're trying to set. So that's just something to think about if you are in that type of situation. All right, so those are the questions. And like I said, if you have any more questions, feel free to email me, Lauren@laurenthesellcoaching.com, or message me on Instagram, or post it in the Boundary Setting broadcast channel on Instagram when I ask for questions, or schedule that 15-minute free meeting with me. I would love to answer your questions. And so here's something that I just recently thought of that I thought might be cool. So I'm looking for somebody to do a free 30-minute to an hour boundary setting coaching session with me. And the only catch is that it will be released as a podcast episode. So if you are interested in doing this, email me at Lauren@laurenthesellcoaching.com and let me know why you would like to do this and what you would like to address during our time together. I thought this might be kind of a cool way to have people get a little peek into my work that I do with clients when it comes to boundary setting coaching. So I'd love to be able to help one of you out. So email me as soon as you can. I am going to be accepting emails for this until the end of October. And if I pick you, I will let you know. So I'm excited about that. All right, so that's all I've got for today. So before I sign off, I will leave you with a quote. Love yourself enough to set boundaries. Your time and energy are precious. You get to choose how you use it. You teach people how to treat you by deciding what you will and won't accept. Anna Taylor. Thank you so much for listening to the Highly Sensitive Podcast. You can help support the show by taking a minute to rate and review it, share a favorite episode with a friend, or go to patreon.com/highlysensitivepodcast.